Hello everyone, how you doing today? James here once again with a brand new episode of Bible Break, where we nourish our souls with God's Word. Before we get into our passage for today, I just want to take a moment and say thank you. Thank you to each and every one of you who have been tuning in over the last several weeks, but also thank you to those specifically who have reached out to me either in person or through an email or through a message to encourage me. I really appreciate your kind words, and this connection is so important, especially when we have to resort to doing things virtually. It's been such a blessing to hear from you and to hear your testimonies, so thank you, and may God bless you for it. And now, I want to ask you all a question. Have you ever been hungry? I'm talking like really hungry. Like hungry to the point that you consider it like ravenous hunger. Like it's really painful hunger to the point that all you can do is think about food and how to satisfy your hunger. Like, you've heard the expression, I'm not hungry, I'm hangry. That's the kind of hunger I'm talking about. And Jesus talked about a hunger kind of like that. Not for apples or for mac and cheese or whatever your favorite delicacy is, but a hunger for something that's even more satisfying. So let's take a look at that passage before you think I'm crazy. We're turning to Matthew chapter 5 and verse 6. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. And I love the way the ESV puts it as well, for they will be satisfied. So, at this point in Matthew chapter 5, Jesus has just started his Sermon on the Mount. And he kicks it off with a set of teachings that we refer to as the Beatitudes. And I love the Beatitudes because they're short and sweet, and poetic, but also deeply profound. And this verse is no different. Let's take a look at it. Blessed are those who hunger. Okay, let's stop there for a second. What is hunger? You're going, well, James, it's the rumbly and the tumbly. Kind of. Let's look at it more broadly. What is hunger? Hunger is a dissatisfaction. It's a discontent with your current state. It's a longing from within for a need to be met. So, in the example I started with, by rudely eating an apple in front of you and talking with food in my mouth, the need I had was food, and it was satisfied by the apple. I mean, I'm in a constant state of hunger, so satisfied is a strong word. But you see my point. And see, what Jesus is talking about here isn't a hunger for food, it's a hunger for righteousness. Now, we typically don't think of hunger as a good thing. Hunger is associated with pain, the rumbly and the tumblies, as we said before, right? We don't typically think of that as a blessing. But here, in typical Jesus fashion, he takes our worldly values and turns them upside down. Here, hunger is a blessing because it's a hunger for righteousness. That's a good thing, not only because it's noble, but because if we hunger for righteousness, if we long for wrongs to be made right, if we long to see justice prevail, if we are discontent with the way that things are in our world, if we are sick and tired of evil, that hunger can be satisfied. Jesus promises it right here. Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. They will be satisfied. One day, God is going to make every wrong right. One day, God is going to wipe away every tear from our eye. Hungering for righteousness is a blessing because unlike a lot of the other things that we hunger and thirst for, a hunger for righteousness can be satisfied. God is going to meet that need one day. So let me ask you, what do you hunger for? What do you desire? What is it that you long for? Do you hunger and thirst for righteousness? Do we really hunger and thirst for righteousness? Do we long for change in our world, in our country, in our province, in our city? Well, folks, it's really easy to hop on social media and to point the finger and say, this needs to change, this is evil, this needs to change. But it's a whole lot harder to do that in the mirror. If we truly long, if we truly hunger, if we truly thirst for righteousness, I also need to hunger and thirst for righteousness in ourselves. It starts right here, folks. If each and every one of us longed to see our hearts made right, if we hungered and thirsted for righteousness in ourselves, for God to change us, then this world would look like a very different place. So let me encourage you to pray about that today, to tell God what change you want to see in yourself and in the world around you. May you be blessed as you hunger and thirst for Him and for His righteousness. God bless you today, and we'll see you on Thursday. I'm going to go finish my apple.